A trick for a thief, and a lesson for a lifetime.
Welcome to Fairy Tales English Journey, where we explore magical stories from around the world. Today, we will travel to ancient Japan to hear a famous tale. It is the story of a brave rabbit and a very mean animal called a tanuki. Are you ready to learn English and hear this very exciting adventure? This story is called Kachi Kachi Yama. It teaches us about justice and friendship. We will learn new English words while we follow the smart rabbit on his quest. He wants to help his human friends who were wronged by the cruel tanuki. Let us begin our wonderful journey into this classic Japanese folktale. A long time ago, in a quiet village near a big mountain, lived an old man and an old woman. They were very kind and worked hard every single day. They had a beautiful garden where they grew sweet potatoes and tasty radishes. They loved their peaceful life and always shared their food with others. The old man went to the mountain every morning to gather wood for their fire. The old woman stayed home to take care of their lovely garden. They were very happy together. But one day, a greedy and cruel tanuki moved into the forest near their home. He was a mischievous creature who caused trouble. A tanuki is a Japanese raccoon dog. This tanuki was very lazy and did not want to find his own food. He watched the old man and the old woman working in their garden. He saw their big, delicious vegetables and decided to steal them. He waited until it was dark to make his move. That night, the cruel tanuki sneaked into the beautiful garden. He pulled up the sweet potatoes and ate the crunchy radishes. He made a huge mess and ruined all the hard work of the kind old couple. When the sun came up, the tanuki ran back into the dark forest to hide in the shadows. The old man and the old woman woke up and saw their ruined garden. They were very sad and did not know what to do. All their winter food was gone. The old man decided to stay awake the next night to catch the thief. He wanted to protect his home from the bad animal. The old man hid behind a large wooden barrel in the garden. He waited for many hours in the cold night air. Finally, he saw the greedy tanuki sneaking through the fence. The old man jumped out and threw a big net over the tanuki. The cruel thief was finally caught in the strong trap. The old man tied the tanuki to a thick tree trunk. He told the old woman to watch the bad animal while he went to the mountain to get more wood. The old man wanted to build a strong fence to keep the tanuki away forever. He left the house and walked up the hill. The old woman was busy making sweet rice cakes in the kitchen. The cruel tanuki started to cry and beg for mercy. He promised he would never steal again. He said the ropes were hurting his paws. The kind old woman felt sorry for the crying tanuki and decided to loosen the heavy, thick ropes. As soon as the ropes were loose, the mean tanuki pushed the old woman down. He locked her inside the small wooden shed. Then he ran into the kitchen and ate all the delicious sweet rice cakes. He laughed a cruel laugh and ran away into the deep forest before the old man came back. When the old man returned, he found the house empty and the tanuki gone. He heard a faint sound coming from the small wooden shed. He opened the heavy door and found his poor wife locked inside. She was very frightened and hungry. The old man felt terrible that he had left her all alone. The old man helped his wife back into their warm house. They sat by the fire and cried over their lost food and their ruined garden. They felt very helpless against the cruel tanuki. They did not know how to stop him from coming back to hurt them again. They needed a very smart plan. Just then, a white rabbit hopped through their open door. This rabbit was a good friend of the old couple. They had often shared their fresh carrots and green lettuce with him. The rabbit saw their sad faces and asked what was wrong. The old man told the rabbit about the cruel and greedy tanuki. The brave rabbit was very angry when he heard the story. He loved the kind old couple and hated to see them cry. He promised to teach the mean tanuki a lesson he would never forget. The rabbit told the old man and the old woman to rest while he went to find the thief. The smart rabbit formed a clever plan to trick the tanuki. He knew the tanuki was lazy and always looking for an easy way to get things. The rabbit gathered a large bundle of dry grass. He walked toward the forest carrying the heavy bundle on his back. He pretended to be very tired today. Soon, the rabbit met the cruel tanuki on the forest path. The tanuki asked the rabbit what he was carrying. The rabbit said it was magic grass that would turn into sweet food if it was carried to the top of the mountain. The greedy tanuki immediately wanted the magic grass for his own dinner. The Tanuki offered to carry the bundle of grass for the rabbit. He secretly planned to run away with it once he had it. The rabbit smiled and agreed to let the Tanuki carry the heavy load. The Tanuki put the dry grass on his back and started walking up the steep mountain dirt path. The rabbit walked quietly behind the greedy Tanuki. He took out 2 pieces of hard flint stone. He struck the stones together to make a spark. The stones made a loud clicking sound like Kachi Kachi. The Tanuki heard the strange noise and asked the rabbit what that clicking sound was behind his furry back. The clever rabbit answered that they were walking on Kachi Kachi Mountain. He said the mountain always made that clicking sound. The foolish Tanuki believed the rabbit and kept walking. The sparks from the flint stones fell onto the dry grass on the back of the Tanuki. The grass began to smoke and get warm. Suddenly, the dry grass burst into bright orange flames. The fire burned the back of the cruel Tanuki. He dropped the burning bundle and rolled on the ground crying in pain. The rabbit watched from a safe distance as the mean Tanuki ran away crying. The first part of the clever revenge plan was complete. A few days later, the rabbit went to visit the Tanuki. The Tanuki was resting in his cave with a sore, burned back. The rabbit pretended to be very worried about his friend. He brought a small jar of special medicine. He said the medicine would take away the pain and heal the bad burns. The foolish Tanuki was very happy to see the medicine. He asked the rabbit to put it on his sore back. But the jar did not contain healing medicine. It was filled with a very spicy red pepper paste. The rabbit spread the spicy paste all over the burned fur of the cruel, greedy Tanuki. The spicy pepper paste burned worse than the hot fire. The Tanuki screamed and jumped around the small, dark cave. He ran to the river and jumped into the cool water to wash away the spicy paste. The smart rabbit laughed and walked away. The second part of the revenge plan was a great success. The rabbit waited another week before he went to see the Tanuki again. He wanted to finish his plan and make sure the Tanuki never bothered the old couple again. The rabbit found the Tanuki resting near the wide blue river. The Tanuki was still very angry, but he was also very hungry and tired. The rabbit told the Tanuki that there were many delicious fish in the middle of the river. He said they should build boats and have a fishing contest. The greedy Tanuki forgot his anger because he wanted to eat the tasty fish. He agreed to the contest and started to think about building a boat. The smart rabbit built a small, strong boat out of solid wood. He carved it carefully and made sure it would float perfectly on the water. The lazy Tanuki did not want to work hard to chop wood. He decided to build his boat out of thick, wet mud from the side of the river. The Tanuki thought he was very clever. His mud boat was big and heavy, but it was very easy to shape. He patted the mud into a large bowl and pushed it into the water. The mud boat floated nicely at first. The Tanuki laughed at the rabbit and said his boat was much bigger. The rabbit and the Tanuki climbed into their boats and paddled into the middle of the wide river. The sun was shining and the water was calm. The rabbit used a wooden paddle to move his strong boat forward. The Tanuki used a large flat leaf to paddle his heavy mud boat through the water. They reached the deepest part of the wide blue river. The rabbit cast his fishing line into the water and waited. The Tanuki tried to catch fish with his bare paws. Suddenly, the Tanuki felt his feet getting wet. The water was slowly dissolving the thick mud at the bottom of his heavy brown boat. The mud boat began to melt away into the flowing river. The Tanuki panicked and tried to scoop the water out of his sinking boat. But the more he moved, the faster the mud dissolved. The boat broke apart, and the cruel Tanuki fell into the deep, cold water with a very loud, big splash. The Tanuki splashed and swallowed water. He could not swim very well. He begged the rabbit to help him. The rabbit looked at the struggling Tanuki and reminded him of the kind old man and the sweet old woman. He told the Tanuki that this was his punishment for being so cruel and very greedy. The rabbit said he would only save the Tanuki if he promised to leave the forest forever. The Tanuki cried and promised to never return to the village. He promised to never steal from the old couple again. The rabbit threw a long, thick rope to the Tanuki and pulled him to the riverbank. The wet and shivering Tanuki crawled out of the cold water. He looked at the brave rabbit with fear in his eyes. He realized that his lazy and cruel ways had only brought him pain and trouble. He turned around and ran far away into the distant mountains. He was never seen in the village. The brave rabbit paddled his strong wooden boat back to the shore. He felt very proud of his clever plan. He had protected his good friends and taught the mean Tanuki a very valuable lesson. The rabbit hopped happily back to the village to tell the old couple the good news about the gone thief. The old man and the old woman were overjoyed when they heard the news. They hugged the brave rabbit and thanked him for his wonderful help. They knew they were finally safe from the greedy Tanuki. They could grow their beautiful garden again without fear of losing all their winter food to a bad thief. To celebrate their victory, the old woman made a huge feast. She cooked sweet rice cakes and fresh vegetables from the market. They invited all the friendly animals from the forest to join their happy party. The brave white rabbit sat at the head of the table like a true hero of the quiet village. The village became peaceful and happy once again. The old man gathered wood without worry. The old woman tended her lovely garden with a bright smile. The brave rabbit visited them every single day to share stories and eat crunchy carrots. They lived a long and joyful life together in their cozy little wooden home. Now let us talk about the important lessons we can learn from this classic story. The tale of Kachi Kachi Yama teaches us that bad actions always have bad consequences. The cruel Tanuki thought he could steal and hurt others without any problems, but his greed and his laziness eventually caused his own big downfall. We also learn about the true power of friendship and loyalty. The brave rabbit did not have to help the old couple, but he loved them and wanted to protect them. He used his intelligence to defeat a much larger and stronger enemy. This shows that being smart is often better than being physically strong. It is important to remember that true friends will always stand by you in difficult times. The old couple shared their food with the rabbit when they had plenty. In return, the rabbit risked his own safety to help them when they had nothing. Kindness is always rewarded with kindness in the very long run. Let us practice some English words from our exciting story today. The word cruel means causing pain to others on purpose. The Tanuki was a cruel animal because he hurt the kind old woman. When you learn English, it is helpful to understand how words describe the feelings and actions of the characters we meet. Another good word to learn is greedy. Greedy means wanting more food or money than you actually need. The greedy Tanuki stole all the winter food from the old couple. If you see someone taking everything for themselves, you can say they are being very greedy. It is a very useful word to remember today. We also use the word brave to describe the white rabbit. Brave means doing something difficult even when you are afraid. The rabbit was brave to face the big mean Tanuki all by himself. Being brave is a wonderful trait. You can be brave when you try speaking a new language for the first time. The word revenge means hurting someone because they hurt you first. In this story, the rabbit took revenge on the Tanuki. While stories make revenge seem exciting, it is usually better to forgive and find peaceful solutions in real life. But in ancient fairy tales, revenge was a common way to teach a moral lesson. Another interesting word is clever. Clever means being quick to understand and learn things. The rabbit made a clever plan to trick the Tanuki with the dry grass and the mud boat. When you solve a hard puzzle or learn a difficult English rule, you are being very clever, just like the smart white rabbit. Let us review the word mischievous. Mischievous means liking to cause trouble in a playful way. Sometimes the Tanuki was just mischievous, but he became too cruel. It is okay to be a little mischievous sometimes if you do not hurt anyone. Always remember to be kind and thoughtful of others in your daily life. Fairy tales like this one are a fantastic way to practice your English listening skills. By hearing the story and understanding the context, you learn how words fit together in natural sentences. You can watch this video again and try to repeat the sentences out loud. This will help you improve your speaking and pronunciation. Reading and listening to stories from different cultures also opens our minds to new ideas. Japanese folk tales often feature animals with human traits to teach us about nature and society. We hope you enjoyed learning about the smart rabbit and the cruel Tanuki today. Their story is a wonderful part of global folk history. Thank you for joining us on this fairy tales English journey. We are so happy you chose to learn English with our magical stories. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting adventures. Keep practicing your English every single day. We will see you next time for another wonderful fairy tale.